Welcome, this is Real Estate Motivated. My name is Reggie Mead. This is my YouTube channel where I have pretty much been tracking my real estate journey, and I recently, finally, thank God, finished my first personal renovation project. This was my first project where I was a general contractor, the developer, the architect. I handled pretty much a lot. I was hands-on with a lot of aspects of this project, and I am happy that it has finally come into fruition. I'm about 3 days from it being leased out, about to get it cleaned. Yeah, so before we jump into things, let's get into, let's bring back a flashback video of pretty much what the house looked like before we started this renovation. This house had been vacant since 2009. Yeah, so it was a long time coming. A lot of things, unforeseen things that came and jumped at me. But hey, we're here. We're about 3 to 4 months after the fact. Let's get into it. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a quick run through of pretty much the after. Excuse the floors and stuff, it's a little bit dirty, but I'm about to get it cleaned up. That's why I'm rushing for this video. Tenant is moving in tomorrow. But yeah, man, you can see this is the living room. Pretty much kept all the historic features. The only original wood flooring is actually in this room and in the new kitchen. So yeah. Let me know what you think. Yeah, about to get it cleaned up. Stainless steel appliances, subway tile, vertical. I did the tile myself, by the way. Mr. Mike showed me how to do it. Yeah, so, you know, flooring on the sink. Put an island right here. Didn't put, you know, like vanity lighting or something like that. It's a rental. Not trying to do all that, you know. People have kids. I know if I was a kid, well, when I was a kid, I wasn't trying to, I would have tried to hang on it. But yeah, man, back to it, man. So really, I didn't really spend what it looks like I spent. Cabinet guy owed me a favor, appliance guy owed me a favor. You know what I mean? So really just utilizing relationships. This is pretty much stackable washer and dryer with the same price as like the all into one. So yeah, of course I went with this one. Plus it would probably last longer. You know, I didn't go with a microwave or a dishwasher. I mean, it's easy to break, you know. But I still want to do something nice and provide quality housing, you know. So yeah, so pretty much the floor plan stayed the same, but this is the hallway that I added. So I had to make the hallway wide enough so furniture can go in, because it's only one way in, one way out in the front door. But I wanted something, you know, wide enough to do so, because it's to make this back room an official bedroom. Is another bedroom. So this is pretty much the fourth bedroom, you can say. So basically now it's kind of like shotgun style, where you have to go through another room and another room just to get back to this room. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretty much frame a wall in the middle to where you can kind of like access and not have to go through these rooms to do so. I'm gonna submit that with my part 2 application to SHPO, the State Historic Preservation people. Because it was kind of like shotgun style, you had to go through one room to another one. But yeah, pretty much this is it. So yeah, you know, this is new form. So you go. Original windows. So See, kind of flows. The bedroom, I'm not a huge fan of how I had to do it, but I feel like it still has enough space to be able to, put a bedroom, set, TV, stuff like that. But yeah, so this would be the primary bedroom. And I'm gonna close this porch in and make this a bathroom. So pretty much, this is the primary bedroom. Frame a closet right here, and also you come right here and you'll be able to, pretty much, So, you see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's still spacious, you know what I mean? I like it's good. I like it. Flows. And this is the back porch, pretty much where it was. Yeah, pretty much it was a back porch. Changed it to a bathroom. Yeah, I mean. Definitely has enough space for a bed. Yeah, so pretty much, boom, kitchen. HVAC right here. Couldn't go in the attic. The pitch wasn't high enough. Yeah, like it went really well. Mr. Mike did the HVAC, helped me with the tile, helped me with the flooring. Shout out to him. Shout out to Mr. Knox at the plumbing. Yeah, so here we go. This is the bedroom, the original bedroom where it had like a hole in the floor. Here's right now. Then we got this room right here. With all the debris and stuff, I definitely didn't see this hole in the floor. Come on, man, show people the floor, hole in the floor. Now you gotta get in there, bro. You gotta get in there, you know what I'm saying? All right, there we go. So yeah, this is the last bedroom. I think this was the worst bedroom besides, this was just the worst bedroom. Yeah. Close. It's the bathroom. Gotta get it cleaned up. But yeah. I feel like it's did pretty well. Vertical tiling as well. Another bedroom. And this is the bedroom pretty much where this the hallway a little bit eats into. In this room, and this is a nice sized bedroom. So pretty much with that hall, what we would do is, come in this hall, stop right here, build a wall right here, so that room can have entry, and it'll pretty much be lined up pretty much with this door, But it came out pretty well. Still got enough space. Bed, TV. These rooms were pretty big. This was a big house. About 1,500 square feet. Yeah, kitchen. Walk back. Boom, in the living room. So let's get into these numbers. This is a quick pro forma, kind of like a watered down version, nothing too crazy. Kind of did this one, replicated it from the one that I actually used for the project, kind of watered it down to be more user friendly. So yeah, let's get into these numbers. Pretty much all into this deal, including the debt and the equity, was $155,000. So the mortgage itself was around $124,000. The equity down payment, excluding the closing costs that I had to put down, was around $31,000. So let's go over this budget. I erase everything. You don't need to know. You're probably in a different market or something like that. But it's kind of like what I put into my my budget. So yeah, I put in soft costs and hard costs. So like builder's insurance, surveys, termite treatment, roofing, flooring, cleaning. So pretty much all together into this project was around $121,100. So now we're going to be talking about the income from the project. So A 4-bed, 2-bath. You're looking around anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000. Depends on if you're going to be doing market rate or if you're going to be doing Section 8. I feel for this area and where I'm at, I feel like 1,650 is a reasonable number. I could get a little bit lower, could get a little bit more. I did some comps in the area. So these 3 comps, one of them is 3 houses down. Another one is a little bit closer that way in the Garden District. It's pretty much on that set perimeter. So yeah, I feel like 1650, is pretty good. I have a lease in place already, so that's the number that I got. So I'm gonna be talking about cash flow. So as you can see, and this is pretty much like I said, like a watered down pro forma, nothing too crazy. Just want it to be a little bit more, digestible for someone who isn't used to it. But yeah, so pretty much just focusing on year one, not focusing on any vacancy at all. So pretty much gross annual income for the year would be $19,800. Operating expenses, which you can see below, taxes, insurance, maintenance, reserves, utilities. I'm not paying anything in utilities. So for taxes, pretty much when I was doing my due diligence for the project, with the house that I was pretty much using as a comp down the street, 2 houses down, that house came back at 260 as an ARV. This house came back at 230. But the main thing I noticed was for that house, I believe they might have did a flip or something like that, so they wasn't really caring about it. But I'm holding this one for 5 years. So that house's property taxes went from 200 to 2,000. So that's a big jump. So I'm really happy I did my due diligence on that and pretty much did a restoration tax abatement on it, which allowed me to keep the pre-renovation taxes. So the tax is going to stay pretty much at 240 versus going to 2,040 bucks. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. I wouldn't be making any money. So yeah, monthly taxes are going towards $20. Insurance, $125 a month is going towards it. Maintenance and reserves is $100. I already have money pretty much in the account saved, so I was keeping it really reasonable. So pretty much monthly operating expenses are $245. Net operating income minus your debt service. Debt service is pretty much the debt on the property that's owed to the bank. So pretty much after that, and I'll go over that in the next one. So pretty much after that, we're cash flowing annually $5,127, monthly $427.32, and the debt service coverage ratio is 1.44%. And the banks usually look at 120, 125, something like that. So I feel like that's a real good reasonable number. So going to the debt, pretty much the loan on the house. So the loan amount is $124,000. Interest rate is 8.25%. So the thing is why, honestly, I'm not really worried about the cash flow that much is because pretty much you'll see in the next slide how much I paid or I got paid through this property. So yeah, so pretty much right now, if you're making any money right now with the rates where they are, and you can ride the wave to when they settle in the market, I think you'll be good. So pretty much right now, my cash flow is $427. And at the time of this loan, I closed, it was 8.25%. So let's say things turn, which they will, and I can get a 5.5% loan. So my cash flow is going to increase to $643. Let's say it goes to 4, a little bit ambitious. Hey, let's say it goes to 4. So then we add $750. You know what I mean? And it could be less because the loan would be less and blah, blah, blah. But it's just something to play with because right now, I mean, I'm just thinking long term. So if I'm able to make $400-something this month, I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm able to ride that wave and continue going. And now I'll show you why. So profit overview. So we can talk about how much capital I invested in this project. So altogether, out of pocket, 39, and this number is solely from a developer investment standpoint because I played two different roles. So I played the developer and the general contractor. So with me playing the general contracting role, I had to have additional funds to front the first draw. So your bank draw for your construction is all reimbursable. So I had to cover that and then get reimbursed at the end. I didn't really include it in this, but just wanted to elaborate on that. So pretty much all in together for this deal, I was $39,835. That includes utilities, that includes insurance, builder's risk, bank interest, closing costs, and the down payment. Yeah, so $39,835. And I'll probably say that first bank draw, I had to front an additional $10 to $15. So yeah, that was a little bit of a hill to get over. So, but yeah, so pretty much that's the number that I was pretty much all capital invested. So pretty much, like as I mentioned, this project is historic. So I applied for state historic tax credits. I didn't do federal for this project. Kind of wish I did, but I didn't want to slow down the process, and it was my first time doing it on my own. But yeah, so we got that approved. I'm sending over my invoices and all that this weekend. But it was approved. So yeah, so total out of pocket cost was $39,835. The capital return from me was $41,970.46. So pretty much that includes my historic tax credit refund. So on the state level, you're able to monetize. So pretty much you go through it, submit your applications, get it approved. They give you a certificate, then you're able to monetize it and go to pretty much different capital companies who basically, middleman or sell them to bigger developers and things like that. And yeah, they'll buy them on 85 cents on the dollar, 9 cents on the dollar. For this one, I believe it was 85 or 87 cents. I have it confirmed. But yeah, they bought my credits for that. So yeah, pretty much my construction profit as a project manager and on GC on this project was $10,000. And that was pretty much up to you if you want to keep that money in the deal or what you want to do. But I didn't want to keep any money in the deal. I wanted my money back. So pretty much, that's how much my profit was. And I also did the paint. I also did, other things around here to really understand, to kind of cut costs and do things like that. So yeah, man. So I was pretty much paid $2,135.46 to get this house. And that's not including, the equity or, anything like that. So yeah, man, at the end of the day, I was paid $2,135.46 to get this home and bring it back into commerce. And yeah, man. So as I mentioned earlier, the ARV was $230. So at the end of the day, I'll have $106,000 of equity in this deal. The restoration tax abatement is $9,660.75 over the next 5 years of my tax savings. My monthly cash flow is $427.32 right now, and that is pretty much based on that rate. So when it comes to 5 years and I have to refinance something like that, yeah, I feel really good. I feel this was a really great deal, and it pretty much confirmed why I went to grad school, because I pretty much learned a lot of this in grad school, then used it at Kimball Properties, my last job. Yeah, man, I feel good about this. And it's like, let's say I wanted to just stay and be a small developer, you know what I mean, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? You do this. Let's say you do this 12 times. You know what I mean? This would be your net worth. You know what I mean? Let's say you do this 12 times. You're getting $5,000 a month. You keep your job. You know what I mean? You living pretty good. Yeah, man. So for me, this was a really great deal. For me, able to, pretty much invest, get my money back, bring it back into commerce, give somebody quality housing, and to be able to, make a return and to, keep that into the next project and, pretty much scale. Yeah. And for me, it was really important to be able to do a historic property where I'm able to get that money back and scale and put it back. I'm not interested in trying to wait 1 year or 2 years. I'm not trying to rush my process, but I know if I can do something the right way, I'll do something a certain way and, scale faster. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So for me, I have a 7-year goal. If I stick to it and do this and do that, I'll be able to scale and do certain things, and, live pretty good with me and my family. But yeah, man, this was it. This is a great deal. Look at these numbers. It's a great deal. So yeah, man, if anybody wants like this watered down pro forma, I definitely can send it over to them. So yeah, so man, as you can see, man, I'm pretty much finally completed with this project. Man, this project was a full rehab, full renovation. When I first started this project, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a job at the time. Thank you to the Most High for being able to provide. I guess, I was able to provide for my monthly expenses for, my home. Just the place that I was at. I had a 3-month-old. I had a fairly new car under a year. Just had bought my wife a car, you got kids, you got other expenses, so, I could have, plus the construction interest and things like that and insurance for the property itself. I could have just, taken the down payment and closing costs money I had and could have just, sheltered myself and say, oh, I'll be back, or I just, but no, I just felt like I felt like I was in my purpose. I felt like I was moving, according to my plan, and I was being tested for my faith. I'm not saying it was easy, but looking back, you can say, hey, this is, how God provided for me to be able to get through it. And yeah, man, I didn't have a job when I started this project, which was not planned. But, I had been working for Anthony for maybe like 5 years. And I'm really sharing this because, I've pretty much been sharing my journey for the past 4 to 5 years. So if you stuck around, I've been pretty much moved out here. I've post grad school, moved out here, worked for Anthony for the past 5 years, and just learned so much, learned a lot of things that I want to do, learned some things that I may not want to do. But the things that I'm able to say is, I'm able to say, hey, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. That's coming from a person who, was behind someone. I wasn't the person who, was signing the personal guarantees on these loans. I wasn't the person, learning in real life, in real time, while leading other people and things like that. So it's like you have to put those things in perspective in a lot of situations, which people don't do, but I think you should, which is what I'm doing. I learned a lot. I learned a lot just being up here about properties, how to go about things, about leadership. Just a whole lot of things. I really grew these past 5 years. Relocating my family out here. Just doing a lot of things, Yeah, man, I'm appreciative. I came out here with a little bit, leaving out here with a little bit more. So this is wrapping up this project. I have one more project, and then moving back home to New Orleans. Yeah, so feeling good. Because who wants to come drive 100 miles just for one property? So getting a second one, making some money on that one, and also making the drive worth it. So yeah, but yeah, man, thank you to the Most High for this project, man. Also thank you to Tina and Melissa at Resource Bank for being patient and helping me understand more what is my first project from a banking standpoint. Thank you to pretty much Mr. Knox with the plumbing. Mr. Knox, who did my plumbing, he really didn't even want to get paid. I had to chase him for his check. He didn't really want to get paid. Like, he just wanted to just wait. Just something's like, which helped me, because I'm like, okay, I don't have to use this money for this draw. I can use it for something else to keep the project going, and I just pay him, But yeah, man, just have relationships like that, like Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike helped me with the tile. He did the HVAC. He helped me with the hole in the floor in that bedroom. You know what I mean? And it really wasn't about the, because I just finished my budget going with my test credits. I didn't necessarily save financially, but they helped me, you know, be able to, you know what I mean, reposition funds and pay this or pay that. Because like, I mean, pretty much both of them didn't want to like get paid. But I did, you know what I'm saying? I pretty much, you know, I do appreciate them, you know, for definitely helping me with this project. But yeah, man, you know, and thank you to my son. My son was able to help me. He was able to squeeze his little body in this tight corner where I put this washer and dryer and put the plug in, and he was able to do it and help me. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you to my dog. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, this was a lot. You know, a lot of me having to make sure the numbers work. I did a lot of the paint. I pretty much do all exterior paint. A lot of the paint. This is with demo. Mr. Mike showed me how to do the tile. I was in his way a little bit, but he was able to show me how to do the tile, the subway tile, things like that. I did the tile right here in the kitchen myself. Yeah, man, it was a lot, you know. It was a lot, but I was familiar with it coming from my previous employment, working with Anthony. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, it's just like, yeah, man, it's just, you know, I learned so much from there to be able to take it and go. It was a lot of sacrificing on mine, you know, a lot of sacrificing, you know, certain things. But yeah, man, it was a lot of, you know, maneuvering and not feeling defeated. You know, this project meant a lot for me, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I wanted to use my own money. I wanted to not go to somebody else or borrow this or borrow that. I wanted my first one to be solely on me, and it wasn't a pride thing. It was just something that I wanted to, you know, be able to build off of that, and also do maybe like a proof of concept as well, you know. Yeah, you know, so pretty much building that up, getting that straightening, you know, here I am. So I'm good. I got all my money back, plus, you know, a little bit more, but pretty much, you know, with the historic tax credit to get refunded and everything like that, the more you spend, you know, the more you get back. And yeah, man, this was a great project, you know, and I'm sharing this, you know what I mean, because maybe one day, you know, when I'm on a yacht, you know what I mean, in the south of France, and my son is asking me, "Oh, Dad, well, were you always like this?" And I'm like, "No, well, you can look at this video, or you can do this and do that, you know what I mean, and see, you know what I mean, the trials or what it took to get here, you know what I mean." Yeah, man, that's why I really find joy sharing my journey and my experience with this, you know, and, you know, we're finally closing this one out, and I have another project around the corner that I'm about to begin. And this video is probably not coming out until I have the video for that one. So yeah, check that one out. Yeah, I am focused on building a solid foundation, and I feel like with this deal, it was really great. Really phenomenal deal. Definitely, man. I'm trying to think, the host of his name, G. Alexander. Thank you to him, his team, for persevering and staying on the project. Yeah, man. So yeah, stick around. I feel good. Stick around. I feel good. So pretty much, you know what I mean, like I said, you do 10 of these, you got $1 million network, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let's say you do 14 or 15 of these. You know what I mean? You have 1.5 network. You know what I mean? You sell 5 of them. You sell 5 of them. That's 5. Let's say you get, after closing costs and everything like that, you may get, you know, let's say 400,000. That 400,000, you're able to go get, you know, $1 million property, but you still have 10 other properties cash flowing. You know what I mean? So you're able to still get monthly cash flow and scale. You know what I mean? So you're able to do a complex, or you're able to do, you know, big historic building in the French Quarter Wall, something like that. You know, whatever you want to do, you're able to scale, you know, the right way. You know what I mean? And for me, it's my goal to see how many times I can reuse the same 50,000, 60,000. So the money I put into this deal, how many times can I float it back? Because I'm getting it right back with the historic tax credit. You know what I mean? So how am I able to keep going and keep going and keep going? You know, while building and doing that. You know, and just being able to find different programs like that. You know, yeah, I feel good, man. I feel good. Finally done. Finally able to, you know, this next one. Definitely appreciative of this one. So yeah, man, stick around. We're just getting started. This is Real Estate Motivated. My name is Reggie. We just getting started. You know what I mean? It's only up from here. So for me, my goal, 2 to 3 properties a year. Keep it going for 7 years. Let's see what we end up. All right, boom.